Most people go through life thinking they're guided by their own thoughts. But the first real philosophical issue we hit is this: how much of what you believe is actually yours? Not in the poetic, inspirational poster sense, literally. From the moment you can understand words, you're fed concepts about right and wrong, success and failure, love, identity, faith, purpose, all before you ever develop the ability to question any of it. You inherit a mental toolbox shaped by parents, teachers, institutions, culture, and whatever random influences dominate the era you were born into. And here's the twist. Once those ideas settle in your head, they masquerade as your own voice. You think you're choosing, but half the time you're just echoing something you absorbed without consent. And it's not your fault. The world is built to work this way. Societies function smoother when people move in predictable patterns, follow the expected path, and don't ask why the rules are the rules. But if you stop for 1 second and ask yourself, do I actually believe this, or do I just feel like I'm supposed to? You've already stepped outside the script. That one question is the first rebellion, and honestly, it's the start of actual self-ownership. Think about something simple: success. Most people chase it like a dog chasing a laser pointer, sprinting after an image that keeps moving just out of reach, because someone convinced them that the only acceptable life is one where you're constantly proving something. But the definition of success isn't universal. It's conditioned. In some families, success means stability. In others, wealth. In others, obedience. In others, rebellion. So when a person says, "I want to be successful," they're often just trying to fulfill a script they didn't write. The real philosophical problem is that they never stop to ask whose dream they're grinding their life away for. This isn't some complex academic theory, it's basic mental hygiene. If you don't examine the beliefs you run on, those beliefs run you. People fear questioning because they think it means everything collapses. But in reality, the opposite happens. When you separate what you genuinely value from what you've simply absorbed, your mind gets quieter. You stop feeling pulled in 100 directions because half those directions weren't yours anyway. So the first issue we confront in Safi Haleyla is simple, digestible, and more revolutionary than it sounds. How do you tell the difference between your voice and the voices living rent-free in your head? Once you learn to separate them, your choices stop being automatic. They start being real. And that's where truth begins. Not in knowing everything, but in finally noticing which thoughts are actually yours.